Hey there, this is Harry from Soft Skills Pills, and today I want to give you some insights on how to make your team stronger through the TReE Team Scan tool, a tool that allows you to assess your team in a quick and in-depth way. This is something I've been talking with a few engineering managers in the past few days, so I thought I'll do, let's say, an unboxing video of the tool and give you some more details about how to use it. So basically, the tool is it allows you to do a lot of things. One of the main focuses of the tool, or main strengths of the tool, is it allows you to have a safe way for people to speak up and talk about the tough issues on the team. The tool, it is a survey that we've designed that everyone fills out, and it gives you a report that gives you some in-depth insights about the team dynamics. So a bit of background. We've been coaching tech teams for the past 8 years, my company. I've been in the tech industry for 11 years in different roles. In a software engineering role, in a leadership roles as well. But for the past 8 years, our focus has been through team coaching and soft skills training to give tech people the tools and the means to work better together and to create those strong teams with great team dynamics and great team environment and amazing results. So we've used a lot of team models. There are different perspectives how to look at teams. We've used the popular 5 dysfunctions of a team. We've used the results from Google's Project Aristotle. We've used also a lot of Amy Edmondson's work on how to create high psychological safety on a team. So basically to create fearless and brave teams. At some point we developed our own tool, our own model, which is called TReE Team Model, which basically it gets the strengths from different models, but also focuses in the tech context, because there are some aspects that we've seen through our team coaching experience that are more relevant to the team, to the tech context, to the tech environment. So just a brief about the TReE Team model. You can see details at softskillspills.com/TReE. But let me give you some overview, because the TReE Team Scan, the tool that gives you the insights about the team, is based on this model. So the TReE Team model, it has 3 primary aspects. One is trust, the other results, and the third is evolution. That's where the TReE word comes from. We get the first letter of each of these 3 words, but because results is most important in the context of teams, that's why we get 2 letters from it. But briefly, trust is this how the team, what are the relationship that the team creates, what's the trust, what's the psychological safety. Basically, it is the people aspect internally of the team. So the team dynamics, but focus on the people aspects, which is basically how people communicate in an open, balanced way, in a clear way. How does it resolve conflicts or disagreements, basically? So whether it is in a healthy way, whether people go into artificial harmony and so on, and whether people create an environment that is both safe but also enjoyable. So whether there is fun and whether people feel they actually matter to the team. So this is the belonging core element. Those 3 orange elements here, they create the so-called trust aspect. The result aspect, it is focused on again, it is internal, how people align each other or how they organize each other, but it's focused on the work aspect or the results aspect. So basically it is the ways of working, how they organize themselves to deliver amazing results, quality results on time. But the third aspect that is quite specific to the tech environment or the tech context is how does the team react to external forces, or how does the team adapt to the changes? how does it navigate uncertainty, and so on. So evolution, the third part, is basically, if we use the analogy of the tree, when you have a windy or stormy weather, whether the team will break or whether we will both adapt to the situation and stay resilient and be again delivering results in those situations. So these are the 9 core elements that you see, the green, blue, and orange stones, let's say, elements there. And this is what the TReE Team Scan actually gives you as a tool. It analyzes through the observations of people those aspects in more details, in depth. So this is briefly on what's the TReE Team model and what does the scan gives you. This I'll share you some details and basically show you a real scan, a real report that is generated from one team that I'll keep anonymous, of course. And the scan is basically, as you see, it is 14-page report. The white pages on top, those are explanatory, so they try to share some details on the model and how to basically analyze the results. Here in the middle are the actual results and the output of the report, and at the end are some hints on how to use the report. I'll give you the hints in today's video. Now, I've already explained the model. Just one quick hint: when you analyze the results, you start from the bottom. So the most important aspect of a team is the human aspect, and it is often overlooked. So when you have strong roots, the tree becomes stronger. When you have weak roots, all the focus that you have on results or on the external forces will not work that much if the trust aspect is weak. So the tool gives you the scan results, gives you some scores on the different elements, and they are divided into 4 colors. You see the traffic light system, but we use 4 colors. So green means it's amazing. So it's the team is very is doing great on that aspect. Yellow means it's acceptable, it's good enough. So it's not great, but it's working. It is something that you should keep in mind, but there is no need to act on that with any intensity or with any priority. You should if you have the time, but if you have deliveries and so on, this is something that you can live with, depending of course on the score, because you have both the color and the numbers. If you're close to the middle number, to the 50, the range is from 0 to 100. So if you're close here, then you should pay attention because you're close to the orange area, which means that you should act on that. The red one means that it's critical. You should do it immediately. That should be your attention because it was neglected or it's something that affects results currently. If you don't fix this, basically the team will not deliver any good results, or it will deliver the results, but then you won't have a team at all. So I'll jump directly into the results just to take again some hints on what the scan will give you. It will give you also some more details. So you have the primary aspects, trust, results, and evolution. You have the 9 core elements, but each of the core elements has some low-level characteristics with, again, the color coding there. Now, the results from this team, this happened in March this year. That's the bigger picture, the big picture. You see the results with all the 9 elements, and then you have 3 pages which with each of the primary aspects with more details. So basically you have the big picture and some more details on each trust, results, and evolution. And I'll go now quickly to give you some insights on how I will read the results here, because it's important to understand how to use these results. Now, first, this is what we do with teams as well. We separate the discussion with real examples from first actually understanding what the scan gives us. Keep in mind that this is basically what people think on the aspects in focus. So this is not our external observation. This is self-assessment. This is a reflection from the team. Of course, the interpretation of the questionnaire that we've designed is ours, but this is basically what people think. And based on this example, it looks like that the trust, the root, here we've displayed it first because, as I said, we start analyzing from the roots. So currently the roots are at the top of the page. So communication is close to the orange. It's 51, as you see. Conflicts are good enough, but I want to see the details there because there might be some aspects or low-level details that are important. Belonging is good enough. So basically this means that the team feels, so because belonging is that at that level, it means that people actually feel that they're a one team, feel that they belong to one team. They create a good enough environment, a safe environment, but there's some aspects of the communication and the disagreements that they should handle. If they fix these, if they improve these and they become more towards the green area, then all the rest that we're going to look at, results and evolution, will be improved by default without any focused attention there. Now the process here is orange. I'm interested in looking at that. Responsibility is not that good. We'll see there are a few responsibility. We look at it both at personal responsibility and team responsibility. We'll see the details there, but here the interesting aspect is the process. So and the evolution is good enough. Usually teams are not that great with external forces. Here the interesting aspect is the resilience. So we'll see about that in a minute. So what I'll do now is focusing on the trust aspect. So you see, for each of the communication, conflicts, and belonging, you see that there are some yellow, orange, and green low-level details. This is where to focus our attention. And basically, the TReE team scan allows you to, as an engineering manager, it allows you to focus your attention on the most important aspect of your team dynamics. It also, as we'll discuss a bit later, it also allows you to actually open up on the tough questions. So why are we here orange? Why are we here orange, and so on? Or why are we here green? It's great. I see that psychological safety is green. That's great. So it means that people feel safe to be themselves and not to have masks on them. So I'll focus on these oranges here. First, the communication, it seems that it's good enough on how open it is, and it is quite connected to psychological safety. It is also balanced enough. So balanced means that you hear the opinions and voices of everyone on the team. Now, one context here that I didn't mention, this is based on a small team, 5 people. So we've seen that these results are generated based on the opinions of 5 people out of 5. So basically the whole team has participated. Now, focusing on clear communication is basically whether people have a shared understanding of things in their discussions and their meetings. And this means that there is no information that is leaking or people have different understanding. So this is something that they should improve. One way to improve this is to have a structure their communication and more visualization, especially in the remote context. A lot of teams struggle with this common and shared understanding. This is not, from all the aspects, this is not that critical, although we've seen a lot of teams that they, for example, have discussions, they make a decision, and then a few months later, a few of the people are not with their understanding that they've made the decision, they should follow a new approach or new process. Now, I'll go to the conflicts aspect, conflict element. Here it's interesting. So the green one on the ignoring conflict means that that the team, when they have a disagreement, they don't sweep it under the carpet. So when they have different points of view, you hear those different, and when you hear those different points of view, people engage into a discussion, engage into a debate. They don't ignore conflicts. That's great. So not ignoring conflicts is great. You can look at softskillspills.com. There is the 5 stages of team conflicts and how the team evolves in terms of disagreements. And it is great that this team is not ignoring conflict, which means, again, if you have 2 or more different opinions, they will discuss them. They will engage into a debate. Now, the issue here, though, is this one, the orange one here. It is that when they engage into a debate, it's not healthy. That's an issue. So what usually happens when you have such a combination of not ignoring disagreements and having unhealthy disagreements is that people will stop actually debating. They'll be more silent, and at some point here you have the orange or red one. So they will become, the team will enter into an artificial harmony, which means that they will have disagreements, but they will not share them. They will avoid discussing the tough issues. Here it is yellow, so it's good enough at this point, but I assume that the tendency will be that this will become orange, this will become yellow, and this will become greener because people will have less conflicts because they will not discuss them. But the conflicts aspect here is not good. It's not good. It should be addressed. So basically, if I have to look at the distrust picture, I'll focus on how to make sure that people do share openly their opinions without having unhealthy conflicts. That will be my number 1 priority here. Going on the results aspect, you see a lot of yellow, so it's good enough. The responsibility aspect is 55, which is low. But it's not that important at this point because it is good enough. So if I compare trust to results, you see here we have oranges. We should focus on the oranges. And again, for me, this orange with conflict is unhealthy, is most important here. Here, I see that there is a orange on the clear decision-making approach. And this is, let's say, typical, and I've seen a lot of teams that don't have a clear decision-making process, decision-making method or approach, and this is the case here as well. You see the orange here means that people, when they are resolving these agreements, they don't have a clear way how to align each other and how to act together afterwards, how to be engaged afterwards. So here, if you go to softskillspills.com, there is one article called, so you can use the search bar, you can use the decision matrix to actually do a workshop together. We do this as well with teams, and this is basically how to make a decision on the decision-making approach. This is the most important decision teams should do. How do they make decisions? So this is again related to disagreements. We had one team that had healthy discussions, had healthy disagreements, but they kept repeating those discussions over a period of months because they didn't know how to move forward. So when it's good that they disagree, but it's not good that they then not choose their common approach. And if you have a decision-making approach, you will be faster and you deliver better results, and you will have more commitment from people. So this is the second aspect I'll look here. Evolution is all yellow. Although they're with some lower scores towards 50, I think you shouldn't do anything here. You should discuss the results, and I'll talk about this as well, but you shouldn't make any changes at this point. So if I look at this picture again, the whole from this team, I'll focus on 3 aspects, and I'll do them in order. First, I'll focus on how to have healthy disagreements with passion, but with respect, and how to not have a lot of tension or bad emotion after disagreeing. So this is one topic that the team should handle. The second is, and it is actually related to having a healthy disagreement, how do you resolve your conflict? So what's our own method to resolving disagreements? Whether it is, let's say, the expert decides when we have to decide on architecture or an engineering approach, whether it is the manager decides, whether it is we have a majority voting or whatever. There are a lot of decision methods there. I can think of 30 decision methods. But once there is a clear decision-making process and focusing on how do we communicate so that there is no unhealthy debate, this will be great. The third point, which is for me a less major point here, is on clear communication, but it could be actually related to the conflicts, because clear communication is actually also related to active listening from people. And if people interrupt each other, this will make this aspect orange, which could also trigger unhealthy conflicts. So structure of communication with some rules of engagement. How do we talk so that we don't hurt each other? How do we have different perspectives but still keep our respect towards each other and have healthy disagreements? This is important. And again, how to resolve conflicts. If those 3 aspects are resolved, I'm sure a lot of those core elements will be more with higher scores and even green. So this is what I'll say about this team. Now, in the TReE team scan report, you get some hints how to use the results, but I'll explain them now. This is basically first to understand the results, to discuss with real examples, then to create an action plan. The action plan was basically what I just hinted at with these 3 steps. And then to, once you have the action plan and implement it, to do a scan in 3 to 6 months again, so that you can check whether you have progress or not. We have a lot of details on at the Soft Skills Pills platform. There are vitamins, there are newsletters, you have a lot of resources that you can apply, but I'll give you some hint on how to do the discussion. So the discussion first is, I'll tell you how we do it with teams. So basically, we go element by element, and we use the 1-2-4-0 liberating structure as a structure of the discussion. This basically means that we leave some alone time for people. When you have a small group like 5 people, alone time is important. When you have, let's say, 10 or more people, you can skip this step and just structure people into groups. So have groups of people into 3 or even 4 people at some point, so that I'll tell you what they should discuss. And when you have this structure where you have parallel discussions, then each group present their thoughts in front of the group, then you have a quick way to hear everyone's opinion without hearing everyone in front of everyone. If you don't know this liberating structure, you can go to, I think you can Google liberating structures. There is a website and you can check 1240, or you can Google 1240 and you will get it. So what we do with teams is we present the results so that everyone can see them. First, it's important for people to understand the TReE team model so that they have a clear understanding of the different elements, what I did in this video. And then basically is to, the first aspect of, I'll separate the discussion into ways. First is to discuss why we think, real examples of why we think we're bad and why we think we're good at certain aspect. Because if you have something that is yellow or orange, it usually means it's either all people think it's yellow or orange, or some of the people think it's green, so it's good, and some of the people think it's bad, so we have different opinions. So that's why it's important to structure the discussion is, let's say, if I focus on conflicts, I'll give the task to, if I facilitate the discussion, I'll tell people, now focus on conflicts and think of examples where you had good conflicts and where you have bad conflicts. So not each of these wall level details, people shouldn't focus on the lower levels, but on conflict as an element. So what are some good examples and what are some bad examples of conflicts? In this way, you allow people, both those who think things are great and those who think things are bad, to express their opinions. And you can go element by element, or you can go the whole aspect. So think of great examples of trust. So basically where you had good communication, conflicts, and belonging. But you can go element by element as well, depending on how much time you allocate for those discussions. So the first aspect is just to listen to each other, what we think, why we think we have these results, because this is again the opinion of people. Some interesting topics will pop up. So that's the first aspect. So you do these parallel discussion, presenting, and some open discussion on the let's say retrospective analysis of why we think we get these results. The focus here is to actually talk about real situation, real examples that are from the day-to-day work of people. So it will be something like 2 weeks ago when we had that discussion about, let's say, how we move our product into the different market. What happened was this and that and that. For example, 2 people were then very angry. We had some shouting and so on. So your focus here is to get actual examples. Then after you've talked about all the examples, you can think of, you can actually do it in a separate meeting or separate discussion, but it is, the focus will be on an action plan. So it's good to discuss the whole picture because you have green elements as well. It's important to talk about the good aspects as well, because this will allow you to celebrate your successes. It's not a tool that focuses you on the bad things. It gives you a reality check. It gives you the good and the bad. So that's why it's important to talk about the good and the bad. But after you've talked about the good and the bad, you talk about an action plan, how to improve. So a separate discussion would be, as I mentioned in this particular case, how to improve the decision-making process, how to improve the conflicts so that they are healthy, we have healthy disagreements, and how to make sure we have a clear communication. Those are the three main aspects. And you can go into the liberating structure again, how to discuss now the solutions. So again, you split people into groups or even alone time to think of solutions, what to apply. You then present each other's ideas, then you have some open discussion, but then at the end you have to have a decision. So for the next 3 months, we will make decision. I'll give you a recent example with one team. We will make decisions with 2/3 with voting, but qualified voting, I think, was the terminology. I think they mentioned either 80% or 2/3 of the people should be voting for when they have different options. So disagreements, the way they choose will be through qualified voting, and then they will apply the decision. And that's their approach. For example, they will definitely vote. They will definitely look at how many people have voted for an option. If there is no qualified enough people, then they will not make the decision. They'll have more open discussion. So basically, that's the rough idea. I've explained it in more details. Keep in mind that we had one team that did this quite quickly. So they gathered together in a meeting. They started the scan in 15 minutes. So they answered the questions, I think, roughly between 10 and 15 minutes, everyone. And then in 15 minutes, they got the results. Basically, they drank a coffee and they got the results. And then in the next 1 hour and a half, they discussed the results without the action plan. So they discussed the whole report. So basically, in 1-2 hours, they got the whole discussion, some interesting topics out of this discussion. And then they focus on how to make things better. So that's roughly what TReE Team Scan gives you. It gives you a lot more, but today I will focus on that aspect, on how to actually use it to focus your attention on the most important elements of your team dynamics. If you have any question on what I discussed, just comment below and I'll give you some more details on what to do or how to do it. If you have, again, any question on using the tool or what to do next, we help managers afterwards with some guidance, or even sometimes we start working with the team and we do facilitate those discussions and help them create an action plan. So if you have any questions on the tool, feel free to comment and I'll give you some more details. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.